Hey guys, and welcome to another Stock Talk. Today is April 18th at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, before we get started, thank you everyone who's been providing comments. I've been reading everyone's comments and I love everyone's support, so keep those comments coming. And a lot of things happened today in the markets. Let's talk about SPY on the 180-day, and it's currently zoomed in on the long-term bearish trend. Let's take a look. Yesterday, we said that, taking a look at this downtrend, right? We said that there was a potential resistance at this breakdown candle, okay? And this was around 271.34. Now, this line actually wasn't there yesterday, but I kind of talked about it in terms of a resistance. Why is this a resistance area? Well, this was the area where we had a downtrend, right? We had a downturn breaking the bullish stance where we had earlier. So you guys can see that we were still kind of bullish until we broke down here. So this was a potential resistance. And then we also identified the long-term resistance at 273.75. Okay? Why are these two resistances so important? Because it is determining whether the market is still bearish on the long term or bullish. So these two resistance lines are extremely important. Now let's talk about what happened intraday on SPY. We tested the resistance once, twice, 3 times, and a couple more times. Many times. And look what happened end of the day. It sold off, right? So you guys might be thinking, uh-oh, we got rejected by the resistance. We're on the downtrend, right? Look at the end. What happened? We're selling off. No. So recall what happened, I think last week. We were talking about a resistance at 266.90. And do you guys remember one of those days where we were kind of near the resistance and it was moving back and forth? It was making this slanted line upwards. And then at the end of the day, it started dropping below that slanted line and there was a sell-off. This is exactly what happened today. But recall, this is a consolidation pattern. As a matter of fact, this sort of pattern at the resistance is once again a bullish signal. The market is once again trying to garner the energy for the push up. Now, whether this takes a couple of days, this will probably take a couple of days because this is a major resistance area, right? It might take till tomorrow or the day after or the entire week. Who knows? But this is a more bullish signal. So what can we expect in the next few days from the markets? Well, in my opinion, it might not happen, right? But in my opinion, I'm expecting some volatility to come back. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean it's going to come all the way down and come? No, not necessarily, but I am seeing some fluctuations, right? From the bottom VWAP to the top VWAP, bottom to top, bottom to middle, middle to top, okay? Some fluctuations near the resistance. If that happens and we're able to look at what happened this morning, we sold off but bounced off of the bottom VWAP and it actually went all the way to retest the resistance. That's a bullish sign. What can we expect the next few days? Some of the similar, in my opinion. So you guys can play the markets by buying on near the bottom and then selling near the resistance. That has been a strategy that we employed last week, and this can be a strategy that we employ this week as we try to cross and test this resistance area. Okay, now that doesn't say that we can't break down and have this fail, right? But so far, we're looking at a pretty bullish consolidation pattern, at least today. All right, so that's SPY, and let's take a look at TVIX, which tracks volatility. All right, for volatility, we identified a support at around $6.73. Okay, give or take. What did we say yesterday? Well, we said that today, because yesterday, let's take a look at the 5-day chart, right? We saw that at the end of the day, after this, this linear sell-off, we saw a bounce back up over the EMA line right here, okay? And we said that because we're at a support, the support was where we started the 2-month volatility bullish trend, right? This was the support, and it started the volatility trend, that there was a potential for it to bounce. But before I invest into TVIX or volatility, I have to see multiple bounces off the support, and then I have to see it cross the 20 EMA line and consistently stay over that 20 EMA line for me to believe that volatility is back in the equation. So guys, early morning, we saw a volatility spike. And I hope you guys weren't caught in this trap and went into TVIX, right? Unless you were quick in and out. But that's for like expert quick traders. Right? So if you bought in, the market's like, psych, got you again. And then it came all the way down. And we're back at the support. So what can we expect in the next few days? Well, we can expect much of the same, right? Similar to SPY when we're trying to test the resistance and test the support, we are going to see probably some spikes near the 20 EMA to the 20 EMA, get rejected, 20 EMA. Okay? So that is what we're looking for in the next few days. Volatility is not a play for me because I don't want to play the trend because remember, markets tend to go up. They don't tend to come down, and corrections occur every 8 years or 10 years, right? So this tends to break the support. This will tend to break the support more than it want to consolidate and move up. So if I can see that major consolidation and a major push up, then that time I will consider buying into volatility. But until then, no, because don't let the markets fool you, right? The markets love to catch you when you're off guard. When you think something is going to happen, it's going to do the opposite thing. All right? So it's kind of this reverse psychology thing, but what can we rely on? We rely on patterns and our best judgment based off of those technical indicators. All right. So, one strategy that I kind of like, so if you guys want to employ this, is the day before we're doing the analysis, right? And we talked about what might happen tomorrow. Write this down on a sheet of paper, right? Write this down on a sheet of paper. What might happen? Jot it down and make sure you keep to that tomorrow. Don't break that trend, right? Because that's your plan. You did all that homework the day before in terms of trends. Why break it the next day? Because, all of a sudden the volatility spiked. We got to get on that train. No, right? So I feel like if you write it down on a sheet of paper, you can look back on it and be like, oh, okay, let's go off of what I did the homework for a couple of hours or a couple of minutes yesterday, rather than impulse emotional buying the next day. All right? I think that's a pretty good strategy, especially for newer traders, right, who are trying to do day trades, and which is kind of more complicated and compared to swing trades. Okay, let's talk about, I know you guys want to talk about this, /CL, which tracks crude oil futures. We identified on crude oil futures that we were making higher highs and higher lows. And yesterday we said that there was a resistance area at 66.25 that has acted as a support area. Why did we say it was a support area? Because yesterday we said that we ended the video right here, where we said that this was the support area, and if this was in fact the support, we would see a bounce up. And we did see a bounce up. Now, the one thing that I did not expect, so I'm not right on everything, right? I mean, and I'll tell you guys about my positions too, but I expected some consolidation by crude oil near the support. No consolidation. As a matter of fact, crude oil is so bullish, it moved all the way past to where I expected, 68, but it moved over this major resistance line. Take a look at that. Right? This is the slanted line. We not only moved over the resistance line, but the majority of the body candle ended at like 68.80. What does that say, guys? Crude oil is on a bullish trend. I mean, there's no analysis needed for this. Bullish trend for crude oil. Okay, so I know you guys want to talk about drip. So drip is the inverse of crude oil futures. Generally speaking, it doesn't go hand in hand 100%, but if crude oil futures are pulling up, drip is coming down. And I talked about yesterday my position in drip. I was still in drip, and that I was looking for a possible bounce at the 180-day low. This low was situated around $9.61, as seen by this white line. I told you guys that my plan was, should it go under like 10 cents or 20 cents under that line, I would sell it. Let's take a look. Here's the one-day chart. Okay. Oh, let me remove this box. Here's the one-day chart. We started the day off already with drip dropping. No surprise there. $9.15. That's where it opened. I didn't even get a chance to sell it, you guys. Okay? Like, it was coming down so quickly. I ended up selling at $9.10. Everything. Okay? I wanted to sell it somewhere higher, like at $9.20, if you guys recall what I was talking about yesterday. So I sold it, and then I went into GUSH, which is crude oil, follows crude oil at $30.66. Now I'll talk more about that later. Let's take a look at drip. Okay. First of all, we see that drip, okay, went down 9%, a lot today. Okay. But we see a slight uptrend at the end of day. What does that mean? That means nothing, guys. Don't get fooled by saying, oh, we pulled up, guys. This is the reversal confirmation. No, right? This is not a confirmation. Look at the 180-day. This would paint a better picture. I want to show you a couple of trends that I see. Okay, I'll show you this on the one-year chart. Every time it breaks a support, a major support, let's look like this right here, right? This was a major support earlier. What happened when it broke down? I put it in a box here. Kept going down. This was another major support down here, right? This was another major. What happened when it broke the support? Kept going down. Okay, so what about this one right here? Here's the double bottom right here. This is support, major support. What happened when it broke it? It kept going down. All right, let me illustrate to you what happened here. This is a major support, undoubtedly. What happened? We're right here. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, there's a good chance based off of previous history that it'll keep going down. Drip will keep going down. Does that mean it will happen for sure? No, nothing will happen for sure. But the probability of it going down more is higher than the probability of it reversing. And I think for it's pretty obvious that if you look at this trend, we don't see any reversals in sight. Like this, if it occurred at a support point, maybe a possible reversal, maybe, even that's hard to say, but this is not a reversal. Not yet, at least. Okay, let's take a look at crude oil. So I told you guys that for crude oil, which is GUSH, I bought in at $30.66. Looking at the one-day chart, I bought in when it was, so I sold off drip. I bought in right here at $30.66 right after I sold off. And there it is. So it went up, I think it went up like 12% at one point, and then it dropped to around $31.83 at the end of day. So looking at crude oil on the 180-day chart, yes, we are overextended. So we could possibly see some retracement back to the 20 EMA, right? We could do some sideways consolidation now and have the 20 EMA catch up with us. Remember, these ETFs, these stocks need to breathe, right? They need to breathe. You can't just keep jogging, go on forever and pushing harder and harder and harder. That doesn't happen. It has to breathe. Look what happened right here. When it pulled so much over the 20 EMA line on the 180-day chart, it breathes. And then it pushes up. And then it breathes, right? Push up, breathe, push up. So what am I saying? Well, I'm saying that, you know, you don't have to sell. You could sell your position right now because we're so good. But in my opinion, crude oil still has a little more to push. Whether it's to this resistance line. So why is this the resistance line, guys? So based off what I talked about earlier for SPY, similar for crude oil, right? This, actually this area, right? This area or this area is near where the breakdown occurred. So starting the downtrend. So let me actually move this line a little lower because you can see that the breakdown occurred right here, pretty much right here, right? And today we nearly hit this resistance area. So just be on the lookout for that. But long term or short term, we're on a bullish trend, no doubt. Okay. So are you going to invest in GUSH now? Not yet. Wait for a pullback, in my opinion, to the 20 EMA, or wait for it to consolidate a little bit before looking to buy in. It's hard to imagine, though it could occur, another surge up tomorrow, like higher than the today's high. It's hard to imagine that, but it might occur. Taking a look at today's candle, 4-hour candle, look, we started the candle gapping up over the previous candle. That's another confirmation of a bullish trend. So make sure you guys take into all those technical indicators into account when planning your trades. So I'm in GUSH now, and I'm not exiting yet. That's my position. What's next? Let's take a look at, oh, this is an interesting one. Man, so many interesting things happened today in the markets. I don't know if you guys were probably monitoring it because you guys were messaging me on the Learn Plan Profit group. So here's natural gas futures, right? I've zoomed in on the 180-day portion where it's relevant for the past few days. What happened? Okay. We saw natural gas surge above this resistance today early in the morning, only to get pulled all the way down and then have the last 4-hour candle close even lower. Okay, so what are we looking at? Now, be very cautious because look at this. This is why I actually left the position DGAZ. Now, I'll talk a little bit about that later, but take a look at this. We're actually making higher highs for natural gas, right? Higher highs. Take a look at this. This might be another trend that might be forming soon. I'm not sure, but this might possibly be another trend for natural gas. So if you guys were in DGAZ, okay, so what is DGAZ, right? First of all, DGAZ is the inverse of / natural gas. So when natural gas is pulling down, DGAZ should be pushing up. Let's look at DGAZ. I was in DGAZ yesterday, and I said that yesterday it was a pretty bullish trend, right? Because we saw a double test at the bottom, and we saw a push up at the end of the day. I set my stop loss at around this area, $26.50. So this morning, my stop loss triggered, and I sold my position. So you guys might be like, well, you're wrong. Like, it went back up. Well, this is why I like to talk about discipline. Yes, I was wrong, but the chance of it coming back up, in my opinion, is slimmer than for it to keep going down, right? It broke this low, so even if it did start pushing up, I don't expect this to go very high. Now, it could, so because it pushed all the way up, that looks, again, very bullish, right, guys? It looks very bullish, but this, you guys got to be very careful if you're in DGAZ, in my opinion, because we're still making lower lows and correlating with / natural gas. We might be seeing a natural gas uptrend that is developing currently. This is why I know some people cover their profits near the end of the day when DGAZ started moving up. The reason why they covered profits, it's not because, you know, they're like, oh, I just want to take my money in the day, I'm done with it. It's because the potential for it to come down is actually slightly higher. We retested the 20 EMA on the 180-day chart for DGAZ, and it kind of got rejected and got pulled back down. So with all these factors combined, just think, do you want to hold DGAZ right now? I mean, it's risky. It's risky right now to hold DGAZ, and especially when we made this low today. So that's why, in my opinion, some people cover their profits. They might not have told you why, and that might be a reason what they're looking at. Okay? Might be a reason. All right. The last thing I want to talk about is /GC, which tracks gold futures. Gold futures, it's in the middle, right? We can't really see what gold is doing. I mean, we can see this, right? Guys, let me do this trend. It's making higher lows, but it's also being edged in by this resistance line, right? So let's take a look at JNUG. This is something that's actually kind of hard to determine because we don't see a specified trend. We did see gold. You can see that this resistance line, which I've made in the past, it did a double peak and it surged over today. Okay, surged over today. See that? Surged over. But we got to be careful because /GC doesn't have a definite pattern. There's no definite pattern, right? You guys can buy in now, but we're near the resistance. You can buy in now and it could easily come down. Or it could go up. Who knows? So, JNUG, it's overextended. It showed a red candle that's almost matched the green 4-hour candle. Right? Why go into JNUG right now? Like, if I could see a continual uptrend tomorrow, then that could be a break of trend. And then we could potentially talk about it gapping up and potential buy. All right? So you guys see what happened, right? It did get back up here, but we kind of closed lower. It sold off at the end of the day. So this is just something to watch. Definitely, I wouldn't invest in JNUG. If you guys are comfortable with your position, then by all means, take that position. Okay. Whew. Last one I want to talk about. Square. Why am I talking about Square? Look at Square. Square is a mobile payment system that has been on my prospective watch list for a long time. On the 1 year chart, this is 1 year, what did we actually do today? We gapped up over the previous day, over the 20 EMA line. Okay, let's take a look at previous trends. What happened during then? Square gapped up over this line over the previous day. What happened? It kept going up. Here, gapped up over the previous day, over the 20 EMA line, kept going up. Gapped up over the previous day. I mean, I don't have to... you guys see it, right? Okay, so what am I saying? There's a potential, again, higher for Square to keep going up, especially if markets are consolidating near that area, you know, the resistance line, and it pushes higher. Then Square, if markets push higher, Square almost certainly will push higher as well, okay? So I took a position on Square on my Robinhood account at $51.39 right before the end of day. Pretty much right here, $51.39. So I'm currently in this position. I like Square. I like this company and their trajectory. So that's my position. All right, guys. That's it for today. I think it was a long one. I'm not sure. I'll check on the video time later. But thank you, everyone who's been commenting, providing a lot of support. I appreciate all those comments and those communication. I communicate with you guys. It's fun, right? So I will see you guys tomorrow for another market analysis, and happy trading. See you later.